Y'all, I am still figuring out StreamYard's. Mama Ro, trust me, because the girl got work to do. But I'm here. I made it. I just realized it's the wrong time, but we're going with it. You know what I'm saying? We're going with it. Everything's in divine alignment. So, welcome to Wellness Wednesdays. I am your host, Cherette of Just Be Healthy Now. I'm a holistic health coach and I assist Black entrepreneurs in creating generational health by tapping into the language of their brains. I'm coming to you from the DR. I'm in Dominican Republic, and today I want to talk about not taking things personal. If you follow me, you've heard me talk about this for the last few days because it's something that's hitting home with me, and I'm really getting these lessons with not taking things personal in real time. And so, who child? Sometimes it's hard. I'm not gonna lie. We are not really taught how to manage our emotions from the time that we're young. And because of that, it really becomes hard as an adult to not take things personal. Because when you are taking things personal, what is happening is that you are, first of all, not in present moment, but also you feel like things are happening to you. And in this life, if I've learned nothing else, I've learned that nothing happens to me. Everyone has a life going on. Everyone has things that are happening to them. And so a lot of the times when things are happening, what seems to be to you, they're actually happening for you. And I want to break down today what that really means. And in order to get this lesson, you really have to stop taking things personal. So, first and foremost, I want to give you the steps to not taking things personal. I'm sharing to my Facebook page and I'm also logging in on Facebook so that I can see comments. So, first and foremost, when you have something happen to you, someone did something to you, said something to you, in order to not take it personal, first, you have to understand that you're a human and you're having this human experience for a reason. Therefore, whatever you're feeling, whatever emotions you have, you allow them to come up to arise and you observe them. So, what's the difference here than what we normally do? Normally, when somebody does something to us, something happens to us, we feel what we feel and we immediately react. This is when you see people like running away or yelling or doing things that may not be like true to themselves because in this state your emotions are running your reaction. So instead of reacting immediately, what you want to do is allow the emotions to arise and simply observe them. So much easier said than done. And I'm having to learn this myself right now. I have my first summit, the Black Entrepreneur Summit, coming up on Monday. And I'm having to watch my emotions because everything that happens in this summit, nothing is at all, nothing is personal. Everything's business. And so I feel like my thing is a little off. So, so as things are coming up, I'm having to allow myself to feel the emotion of anxiety, feel the emotions of frustration, and sit back and watch them for a minute. And what this allows me to do, first and foremost, is separate myself from what's going on. So that's what you want to do. You want to separate yourself from what's actually going on. If someone cusses you out, they're like, you're a bee. You know what I'm saying? You want to allow yourself to feel what it feels like to be called a bee and then separate yourself from it. Because a lot of the times, what's happening is you're just happen to be the person in the position for this person to react on. Because trust trust me, if someone's doing something like that or in a state where they're frazzled, they're reacting. They're not taking the advice that I'm giving you. And so we don't want to lower ourselves, lower our vibrations to get on the vibrations of those around us. The road to enlightenment and the reason why we're here to get through this human experience is to ascend to a higher place where we can live in peace within ourselves. And in order to do that, we have to take a step back. So when something happens, you allow your emotions to arise and then you take a step back and separate yourself from it. Here is where you'll see reality. Reality is really important because when your emotions are high, that's when you're more um, susceptible to taking something personally, right? Because when you're in your emotions, you automatically are thinking someone's doing something to you. But when you, I don't want to say discard your emotions because your emotions are important to feel through, which is why we acknowledge them in the beginning. But when you separate yourself from your emotions and you're able to just observe what's really going on, you'll probably be able to see the situation for what it is. So a lot of the times, for instance, I don't want to put nobody on blast, but I'll like if someone has an attitude, right? A lot of times they'll say something to you with an attitude, but if you really step back and see what's going on, you be like, in general, they're having a bad day. They've had an attitude with everyone. They called you what they called you, or hit you, or did whatever because their day literally sucks. And you happen to have a crossings with them on their sucky ass day. And usually it's just that's what it boils down to. When people are planning events, when someone has transcended, when people are starting new things. These are all moments when emotions are very high and people are very disconnected from gratitude, from love, from peace. They're disconnected from reality. And so, if someone is disconnected from reality, they're not connected to the fact that if they hit you or push you, that it's affecting you or them. They're just reacting, they're in a reactive state. And so it's important not only to see this in ourselves when it happens to us, but in order to not take things personally, we have to begin to see it in others. And once we start seeing it in others, it is a source of compassion. Now, I don't mean this in a way where it's like, okay, let somebody run over you, because we all know that's not what we're here for. Actually, not taking things personal and stepping back from the situation will help you create healthy boundaries. A lot of the times we create boundaries from a place of emotions, from the place of hurt. We're like, you hurt me, so I'm done with you. This is a lot of times what we see in breakups, when we see with the end of friendships. When someone does something to you, you react emotionally and you're like, I'm done with them. Usually that's a tall tell, tall tale sign that you're in your emotions because you think that they just did something to you. Now, if someone's showing you a pattern, like, okay, it's really important for you to for people to show up on time. And every time you go out on a date with this special someone who you're trying to get to know, they show up 30 minutes late. They are crossing a boundary, right? You need someone to show up on time to feel safe and secure. And that's understandable. And that's something that you shouldn't shape just because you're not taking it personal. But here is how that shows up different. When you're taking it personal, the person shows up late 3 times in a row, maybe, right? So they get there and you're like, oh, well, you just never gonna show up on time, huh? You always late with me. I must not mean nothing to you. You must not care about me. When a lot of times that's not the case, they're just in a habit of showing up late. Now, a lot of the times people say sayings like, oh, if someone cares, they'll make time. which a lot of times is true. But when you're dealing with someone in a habitual pattern, sometimes you can't say that. But that doesn't mean you have to deal with it. So when you are able to step back and not take them being laid personal, you can feel disappointed. You can feel like your time is wasted. You can have a lot of emotions. And then once you step back and separate yourself, now you can be like, okay, this person just shows up late. They don't hold their commitment to themselves. And that makes me feel unsafe. So I need to have a boundary of not going on a date with them anymore. And do you see the difference of how you can rectify the same situation, and one you're taking it personal and the other you're not, right? And so, and when you're not taking it personal, you can have such a more peaceful experience, but also a healthier boundary. So maybe you're not burning the bridge. Maybe you guys can't date, but maybe there's a project that you could work on. Like I think in our society, we're like a one and done cancel culture. We think that if I go on a date with you, then now you're in the box of me being a romantic lover to you. And if that doesn't work, then nothing works. But some of the most successful people in life on this earth, and I don't necessarily mean in riches, but if you are successful, you do have um, abundance around you in my world. But some of the most successful people, the reason why they're successful is not because they're special, but it's because relationships built. So, not taking things personal will help you develop relationships. And this is one of the most important things that will bring you to peace in your life. Because the healthier your relationships are around you, the deeper your connections are around you, the better off you'll be. Anything you need, like somebody will have it. And that's just how it works. So it's really in a lot of ways a detriment to self for you to take things personally, because you're really jumping to conclusions and cutting things off prematurely. And so I urge you to really take a look at that. Really acknowledge, where have you been taking things personal? For me, I think one of the biggest relationships that I was taking things personal, and I think this is hard for everyone because it just is, but it's my parents, okay? I be taking what my mama and daddy did to me growing up so personal. I be like, you called me a fat whore. Like, that's so personal. And understand that that's reasonable for me to feel that way. But in my newfound knowledge of not taking things personal, if I really look at what's going on, right? My mom, like I said earlier, a lot of the time she came home and she was just having a bad day. She had a shitty ass job that she loved helping the people, but on her job, it wasn't the most nurturing to her. You know what I'm saying? So she would come home and just be stressed out. And then it's like, damn, instead of being able to like sit down and relax and decompress from the day, I gotta feed these kids. I gotta talk to them about how they day went from school. They want my attention. And so a lot of the times what we don't realize is that people do not have the capacity to process. People do not have the capacity to process. And in that moment, my mother did not have the capacity to process her shitty ass day and nurture me. It was too much for her. So words came out that she didn't mean. And it was highly laced in emotions because she didn't have the tools that I have to separate my emotions from my reality. No one sat on live on YouTube and Facebook to sit down and have chit chats with her about this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, she just didn't have the resources. And so instead of having a moment to herself or breathing, she freaked the fuck out and she called me a fat whore. Like, that's really all that happened. And it wasn't because she thought I was a fat whore. It was more of a reflection of where she was with herself at the time, or, reflecting her environment at the time. It had absolutely nothing to do with me. And I learned this because years later, I went to her and I was like, I really am working on forgiving you, but I want to talk about the things that I experienced. And I told her, and y'all, I swear to God, my mama looked at me. She was like, oh my God. She was like, I was a monster to you. And I'm like, you didn't know this? Like, I thought everyone knew you were a monster. Like, how could this be new news? You know what I'm saying? Like, I was really like blown away that she would like not even remember. She didn't even remember. She was like, I said that to you. I'm like, you said that to me. Yes, you said that to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm holding on to this for years. I held on to this. I was so angry at my mom. When I was in my 20s, I would barely even hug her. I was like, I don't want to hug her. She did all these things to me. And lo and behold, she didn't even remember. And the reason why is because what was happening was not personal. From the womb that I came from, it was not personal. So if my mother can say something like that to me and it not be personal, think about what a stranger can say to me, a friend can say to me, a cousin, a uncle, someone on social media, like anybody can say and do a lot of things. Now, do you have to put up with it? No, like I said earlier, I'm not saying that. But regardless of what your boundary is, it is beneficial to step back and not take it personal because everything is happening for you. You ask the universe for something in this life. And in order to learn it, you're going to have to go through things that maybe they're not going to feel the best. Maybe it's going to feel like somebody's doing some things to you. And your job is to step back, not take it personal, and be in the present of what's really going on. What are you really feeling, and how are you processing that? Okay. So make sure that you're taking a breath. I know it can be a lot. Emotions are high and we have them for a reason. We are humans and we're supposed to feel all the feels of all the things. I don't know why we were made like this, but there's so many lessons to be had in what you feel. Allow yourself. Allow yourself to feel. Allow yourself grace. Allow yourself mercy. You are doing an amazing job. Everything you are doing is working for your greater good. And if you know nothing else, have a little faith that that is true. They say you only need faith the size of a mustard seed, and that's almost nothing. Almost nothing. Okay? So I want to thank you so much. I actually got my times mixed up. I have to skedaddle because I have another engagement. Y'all, just work with me. I am in the DR and my time is different from my normal time. So I got on here 4 o'clock my time. Well, tried to because me logging on the StreamYard is another thing. Okay, honey. But it's not. I'm an hour different, so I know the timing's weird. I apologize. And then I double booked myself, y'all. I'm gonna show up though, and I appreciate you coming and working with me because there's a lot going on over here. Okay, okay. So every time you show up, your energy is so sacred to me. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much for coming here with me and sharing this space with me. If you have not, go ahead and follow me here at justbehealthynow.com. That is on Instagram. And on Monday, I am putting on the first ever Black Entrepreneur Health summits. So excited. We have experts lined up to let you know how to create healthy habits while having a busy life. And if you have any, 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 any New Year's resolutions, know that you're going to have to work on your habits first. So come join us on the 27th, where we are actually interviewing experts who have built successful businesses and created healthy habits while doing that, because you know they're busy. So if you are busy and you need help creating healthier habits so that you can meet your goal in this new year, go ahead and visit me on Instagram. I just dropped the link, and you can also see it right here. Just Be Healthy Now. Click the first link in my bio and sign up. All of the tickets are free. You can upgrade to VIP if you like, if you bought that VIP life. All right. And it's only $47 when you first see it. It will change to $67 if you don't take that opportunity at first. So join me next Monday. I look forward to interviewing the experts and seeing you there. Thank you so much for tuning in. I love you sincerely. And again, my name is Cherette. I'm a holistic health coach at Be Healthy Now. And I will see you next time, next week at the same place on Wellness Wednesday. Wait, hold up. It's so weird when it's just me for production. All right. Wellness Wednesday. Hey, hey, hey. It's Wellness Wednesday. Hey. All right, y'all. That's my time. I love you. Toodles.